Hello, Fat Grandma here. If you haven't been here before, my name is Paula. I have a small eBay store, and I've been selling on eBay for a little over 3 years now. Um, in March, it was 3 years, so not too long compared to some other people who've been doing it for 10 years or more. I did sell on eBay way back when you still sent checks to pay for things, and I think PayPal had started to be a thing at one point, and then I stopped doing it. And anyway, I'm back. So if you've been around, you may have seen the video that I posted yesterday. It's now 1 o'clock in the morning, so for me, I'm still on yesterday, but for you guys, by the time you see this, it will be yesterday. I was at the auto repair shop getting some stuff done to my jalopy, and I had to get the tie rods done on the passenger side. And then while it was up on the hoist, the mechanic discovered that one of the tie rods, the inner tie rod on the driver's side, was flopping around too. I was afraid that was going to happen because the last time I had front end issues with this car, it was both sides, and it usually is. Things tend to wear out equally. So anyway, what was supposed to be around $450 ended up being $640. So that was fun. I had to move some money around. Yeah, I hate when I have to do that. And now I'm going to have a balance on my credit card, which I don't like, but I had to get it taken care of. Every time they change tie rods, you have to get a front end alignment. So, had I waited to get the driver's side tie rods replaced, I would have had to get another alignment in a month or whenever I got that done. And that was over $100, close to $150, I think, for the alignment. So, I wanted to save myself that in the future, so I just went ahead and got everything done. They gave me a laundry list of things that are wrong with my car. I knew they were going to do that. They always do. Every shop I've been to, they tell you all the other things that are wrong, and they act like it's, you know, um, the end of the world if you don't get these things taken care of. But I know there's some things that you absolutely need to take care of so that you don't, so that your car doesn't potentially crash and kill you, or things that could get worse and make other things bad happen with your car. My dad was a mechanic, so if you've been around, I've talked about it. Anyway, they said the valve cover gasket needs to be replaced. CV axle seals need to be. It was on the driver front side. The seals leaking. Whatever. Uh, And then what else? Oh, they want to degrease and dye the CV axle seals after it. I don't care about degreasing it, whatever. That was 103. If I got all of this work done that they are saying I need to have done, it's like $4,000. My car's worth 1,500 at the most. I mean, on a really good day, it'd be worth 1,500. So yeah, the main thing that I found out is that my tires need to be replaced, and I knew that it was probably getting close to time because living in Arizona, like I'm in Kentucky now. If you haven't been around, um, living in Arizona, everything dry rots, and I got tires replaced on my car, all four tires, in 2020, in the middle of the pandemic. And I know that's when I had it done because I had to go inside the store and I was wearing my mask, and there was this guy walking around coughing, and he didn't have a mask on. Nobody was saying anything to him, and it was pissing me off. So that's how I know that it was 2020 when I got the tires replaced. And their mechanic looked at the date. There's a way you can look for the date on your tires to see when they were manufactured. I'm going to double check, but they said 2012 is when the tires were manufactured. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So I bought tires in 2020 that were manufactured in 2012. They were sitting around somewhere for 8 years before they went on my car. They break down whether they're out in the weather or not. Tires don't stay good forever. They don't degrade, like they're not biodegradable like that, but they degrade to the point where you don't want to be driving on them, and I don't care where they're storing them. I don't want tires that have been stored somewhere for 8 years. Anyway, I cannot find the receipt from when I purchased the tires. I went back on my history on Walmart's website and it's not showing that I purchased them. I don't know where the receipt is for them, but I want to find out from them if that's standard practice because I need to get tires. And this not body shop, this auto shop quoted me $618 for 4 tires. I'm sorry, I'm not spending that much. There's no way I'm spending $600 for tires. It's not happening. I spent $600 today. It's like everything they gave me on the list was 1,000 or 600. It's like those are the two magic numbers with my car. So, um, anyway, there's other stuff that needs to be done, but it's not stuff that is like life threatening. You know what I mean? So that's where we're at with the car stuff. I have to make some phone calls and find out what the out the door price is on tires, because a lot of places will tell you, oh, it's going to be this amount. And then when you go to pay, they've tacked on disposal fees and fees for valves and fees for balancing and all the other crap. And it ends up being a couple $100 more than what they quoted you because they didn't tell you everything. Um, so that'll get done. I've got to make calls tomorrow, but I wanted to do a video so I could tell you guys about my solds that I've had. I don't know what the dates were. It was from the 18th of June to the 28th. So a couple days ago, I pulled my numbers. I have not done a video recently because the software that I've been using for the past, since I started doing these, um, has a renewal every year. And I can't afford to renew them. I can't afford to renew my software right now because I knew car things were coming, and so I didn't renew the software. So I have other software I can use to edit, but I hate it. It takes a lot more time, and the software that I'm used to using is just easier for me to use because I'm comfortable with it and I'm used to it, And editing is a good majority of what's involved, and I don't have the time or the mental capacity right now to deal with learning new software for editing. So I'm going to do this video because there isn't a ton of editing. I just have to add little photos up in the corner so that you guys can see what I sold. And last weekend, not this past weekend, because today's Monday. Well, today's technically Tuesday, but um, this past weekend, I went out to a bunch of yard sales. I did not record because the weekend before, I picked up stuff from an auction lot. I went to a bunch of yard and estate sales. I recorded a ton of footage, probably 2 hours worth of footage, and I have not had a chance to edit it. And I don't know if I'm ever going to. I don't know how the other YouTubers can record footage and then share it 2 months later or a month later. They like save up their footage and then they break it up into a certain amount of videos, and I can't do that. If I do something, I want to share it so that it's current. I don't know if that makes any sense. I can't bring myself to share footage that is a month old. It doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe I'll get over that at some point, but for right now, I can't do that. That would drive me crazy, because half the stuff that I might show you guys could be gone. It wouldn't even be in my store anymore if I managed to sell it. So I don't know. It just seems weird. Um, if you were around for the Snow Babies purchase, I purchased a box of Snow Babies for $50, and I'm in the profit now with the Snow Babies. I'm in the profit by probably $20, somewhere around there. And I've still got a whole bunch left. So, um, and now if I see them at yard sales, I picked up three this past weekend because they were selling them for like 25 cents. They are missing some of the, the fuzzy stuff, that's the texture that's on the Snow Babies. If you've ever seen them, they have like this white crumbly stuff that's on them. If they get handled a lot, it comes off. And so a couple of them are missing some of the stuff, but somebody will still buy them. I'm going to stick all three of them in a lot. I think between the three, I paid, two of them were 25 cents each, and I think the other one was $1. So I paid $1.50 for three of them, and I'll probably be able to sell them for, I don't know, somewhere between $8 and $10 plus shipping. So, it's money, and it's not a lot, but I know something about them now. You know what I mean? And two of them were made in the 80s, I believe. So they're really like really retired. They're really vintage. There are probably not that many around for of those particular ones, and so I think I'll do okay with those. Anyway, so that's the update with the Snow Babies. They have turned out to be a good thing. The price that I paid for them, it's working out. So it was definitely worth it. I was concerned when I bought them that I was going to maybe lose my ass on them because there's so many of them out there, but I've gotten lucky, and a handful of the ones that I have gotten, or that I got in that lot that I purchased, there's not a ton of them listed on eBay. Uh, They're different, they're more unusual or less common, or whatever you want to call it. There's just not that many of them listed. So anyway, I have some in my solds this time too. So okay, that's the update on the car. I have to get tires now. I'm still going to call Walmart and find out if my tire purchase is in their system, because I can't pull it up on my purchases on the website, but they may still have my tire purchase in their system. And if they do, I've got a bone to pick with them, because they should not be selling me 8-year-old tires. That's ridiculous. So I don't know how that's going to go. I mean, maybe that's normal, but it just seems kind of wrong. And they're who I'm considering getting tires from, because I did pull up. I'm going to look at this. I pulled some prices from them, but I will make sure to look at the tires before they put them on my car to make sure they're not 8 years old. Um, for all four tires, if I went through them again, and they're all season, because we don't get a ton of snow here, so I don't need tires like I needed when I lived in Illinois. With the installation, now this probably doesn't include tax or disposal fees for the old tires, but $289 is what is the price from Walmart. So probably around 320 maybe, with other random stuff. But that 289 includes the valve stems and the balancing and stuff. So, and then there's tax and all that. So still, compared to 600 and something that the mechanic shop no. you know, I hate to give Walmart my money, but I cannot afford 600 and something for four tires. It's not happening. Anyway, again, I will be checking dates on the tires, because I'm not okay with that. But all right, updated you. You guys know my software, needs to be renewed. That's not cheap either, because I have to do it for a year at a time. It's cheaper that way. I could do it monthly, but then they want almost $8 a month, and it's like almost half that amount if I do an annual renewal. So sometimes they run specials, so I'm going to keep my eyes open for that too. Um, anyway, I'm going to get into my solds now so that I can get that out of the way, get this video done so you guys can see, once I get my software renewed, because I really don't feel like messing with this other software and trying to do, there's so much editing I'm going to have to do with that footage that I got 2 weekends ago. Um, I don't want to do it in different software. I want to use my normal software. So you may see it late. I don't know. Anyway, let me get into my solds. Sales have picked up. I'm not making a ton of money. Again, most of them, there wasn't anything that sold that was over $20 this time. So everything's been right around the $10 mark or lower. I did have one sale that they purchased 2 items. So, the sale was close to 20, I think, but uh, individually things are not high dollar. I think the most expensive thing I sold this time was $18. So anyway, okay. First item I sold, and these are in no particular order. I didn't do that this time. Sometimes I sort them, and I just didn't. Too much going on. Okay, the first item I sold, or the first one that I'm sharing with you guys, was a vintage Brazil. I cannot say this word. Sgraffito. I don't know. Vase bowl, lizard, Komodo, Cayman, native pottery. It had a little sticker on the bottom that said Brazil, and you could tell it was older. Anyway, it sold. I got an offer. I've had it listed for quite a while. It came from Arizona, so that's how long I've had it. Sold for $10, and the buyer paid $8.42 in shipping. I paid $4.50 for it to begin with. It should have sold for more, but I kept reducing the price, and then when I got the offer for 10, I was like, good, get it out of here. So anyway, I still made some profit. The next item I sold was a Mardi Gras jester hanging wall mask, 4 inches, hand painted, Italy, sold for $5.40. Shipping paid was $6.12. I paid $1.50 for it at an estate sale. I bought several at the time, and this is the last one. So they weren't very big. They were just little, really cute masks. But anyway, the next item I sold was 2 wooden gazelle or antelope. One of them had a fawn. They were wooden sculptures, hand carved. One was 8 inches tall, and the other one was about 7.5 inches. Anyway, those sold for $9, and the buyer paid $7.03 in shipping. Those cost me $2.50. The next item I sold was 2 L.E. Smith Mount Pleasant Black Amethyst double taper candelabra candle holders. And those sold for $14.50. I got an offer. I've been taking a lot of my offers that I've been getting, or I'll offer to, like, if the item is 15 and they offer me 12, then I'll meet them in the middle at like 13.50 or something, and I'll counter, and then they usually take that. So I think that's what happened with these two. Anyway, they paid $14.50 for the two, $8.95 in shipping. I paid $10.84 for these, so I really probably broke even on these. But at least I made my money back, so I'm not going to complain. Let's see. Okay, the next item I sold was an owl sculpture. It was ironwood hand carved, and it was 9 inches tall. It had the owl. They're not their ears or horn. It's a horn. Anyway, it was a horned owl, and one of the horns was chipped. I did not notice it when I bought it, but I only paid $5 for it. It sold for 18. and the buyer paid $12.20 in shipping. It was really heavy. So that was my best sale this week, or this 10 days, from the 18th to the 28th, so 10 days. The next item I sold, and I picked this up recently, not too long ago anyway, at a yard sale, was a Jetsons Meets the Flintstones, the movie, VHS, new and sealed. It was from 1989. Um, they paid $6 for it. I got an offer. And shipping was $5.13. I paid $1 for it at the yard sale. So, not too bad. Let's see. The next item I sold was a vintage white owl cookie jar, Better Homes and Gardens Heritage Collection, 9 inches tall. This thing was a pain in the butt to ship. I got an offer on this one. It was sold for $10. I paid about $4 for it. I bought a big lot of owl stuff from this girl on Facebook. I've broken even on that too, or no, I'm in the profit on that lot now. Anyway, I paid $4, about $4 for the owl. So, and it sold for 10. And shipping they paid was $7.97, and I've already gotten positive feedback on it. She said it got there. She said she's purchased two of them. They got broken during shipping, and mine luckily made it there in one piece. So the next item I sold was a vintage Kmart Easter Jubilee Easter Bunny treehouse, 1980s, and it was boxed, sold styrofoam and everything. It sold for $20, and shipping paid was $13.02. I'm also in the profit on that Easter lot. This is another Facebook Marketplace purchase. Bought a whole bunch of stuff that was Easter, so I paid about $2.86. I split the price up across all the things that were in the lot. So I built a box to put this thing in because the woman messaged me who purchased this and said that she purchased one recently and it snapped in half because the person that sold it to her shipped it in the box that it came in and didn't put it inside another box. And I could see why, because it was styrofoam and it had very thin cardboard. So I told her, you don't have to worry about that. I was already planning on putting it in a box, even though it's in its own box, but its own box is that thin cardboard. So hopefully it got there all right. Anyway, I think I told you she paid $20 and $13.02 in shipping, and my cost was about $2.86 for that item. The next item I sold was a small amber glass tea light candle lamp with mosaic shade, 6 inches tall, so it was very little. Buyer paid $8, another offer, and $7.09 in shipping. I paid $2 for this at a yard sale, so not horrible. Still a low dollar, but I made profit on it. You know what I mean? The next item I sold was a Department 56 Snowbabies You Are My Cup of Tea ornament from 2015. No box. Buyer paid $8 for it and $5.71 in shipping. I paid about $2 for each of the Snowbabies, a little bit less than $2. So that one sold for $8. The next item I sold was another Department 56 Snowbabies Thinking of You 2017 mini figurine. This was a little bitty thing. It sold for $7. Buyer paid $5.71 in shipping, and again, I paid about $2 for it. The next item I sold was to a viewer. Thank you, Mary. She purchased a lot of 70s Fisher Price wood and PVC Little People, and there was one Tomy Playrail Rolling Man in this lot. It was a little bag full of toys that I bought at a yard sale that I went to recently. I think I paid $3 for them. She paid $12.15, and shipping paid was $6.57. Thanks again, Mary. She bought them for her grandson, who is, I think, 2. I'm not positive. I think he's 2. Maybe 3. I don't know. He's little. The next item I sold was a vintage sequence collector's series Toys R Us exclusive Game in the Tin from 1995. Sold for $10. Shipping paid was $9.77. I paid $5 for this at an estate sale. I did not price check. I wouldn't have purchased it if I had, but I still made my money back, made a couple of dollars profit, so it's fine. And I didn't have it for too long. It sold pretty quick. I think because it had the Toys R Us sticker on it still, I think that was part of the draw. So the next item I sold, and I picked this up at the same estate sale, was a Monty Python's Life of Brian, the Immaculate Edition. It was sealed, so brand new DVD. Sold for $4.99. They made an offer. Shipping paid was $5.02. I don't know why the shipping was so high. It was media mail, so there's some changes going on with the shipping too. Never good when they do that. Anyway, see, and I paid $1 for that movie, so I think I told you $4.99 and $5.02 in shipping. Yeah, because it was extremely high shipping for a DVD. It just seems stupid. Okay, the next two items were sold to the same person, both Snowbabies. The first one was Stylin 2003 hairdresser figurine. She was about 4.25 inches tall. Sold for $6.94, and it was $3.90 shipping on that one. And again, they were about $2 a piece. Is what they cost me. The other one was from 2015, and it was called Shoe Shopping. Was a 4-inch tall figurine, and that one sold for $10.80, and shipping was $6.44. I did refund her a little bit on the shipping. I cannot remember how much though. And again, that one cost me about $2. So the next and final sale for this batch of solds was another Snowbaby, 2014 Rockabye Baby Girl figurine. It was little. It was like 3.25 inches by 3.25 inches, just a little bitty thing. $10 is what it sold for, and $5.96 in shipping. And again, I paid about $2 for that. So my total cost of goods was $53.20 ish, somewhere in there. Um, I I had it all broken down, but I I'm just gonna give you guys. I made about $85 in profit for over the last 10 days. So my profit for a week for the first 2 years that I was doing this averaged right around 100 or 130, 140, 120, somewhere in that ballpark. And it was fewer sales. It was like maybe one a day or one every day and a half. And so I'm having more sales, but they're not as high dollar. So, the net is not what it used to be. Shipping has gone up. It's going up again. I got an email from USPS. They're raising the rates again, and they've done something with media mail, but I'm not keeping up with it. I can't do anything about it. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. I can't do anything about it. I can't control it, and I just have to hope that it doesn't get so bad that people stop buying because the shipping is ridiculous. So there's nothing we can do to change it. So there's no point in throwing a fit about it. Um, anyway, that is it for my solds. What else? I don't know if there was anything else I was going to tell you guys. I think that's it for this video. I'm starting to get tired, and I need to just edit this, get it uploaded, and as soon as I get my software subscription renewed, I may edit that footage. I don't know. There's so much of it though, and I found some great things. Oh, I did have another Facebook Marketplace pickup that I did a couple days ago. What day was it? Sunday? It was yesterday. Well, yes, 2 days ago for you guys. By the time you see this, um, she took a picture of just this random stuff sitting on her counter and said all of this stuff for $20. I ended up giving her 25 because one of the items, there was a few birdhouses, and I'm gonna donate a couple of them, and then I'm gonna sell a couple of them. But one of the items was a nesting hen, and she is in mint condition. And the glass nesting hens, you know what, if you do this, you know what I'm talking about. They sell, I should make my money back with just that hen. So hopefully, if things go like they should, or like they have in the past. Of course, everything's different now, but fingers are crossed. Probably gonna be, oh, I had to put my store on vacation and I had to take a bunch of stuff out because somehow I got too close to 250 items, and the eBay, I don't know how I even caught it. They were going to start charging me 30 cents a piece for my listings, for listing fees, and I have 250 included each month. So I can't figure out how I went over that. I think it's because I listed all the Snowbabies, and then my other stuff was renewing, and it just ended up being 250 listings. So pulled a bunch of stuff out of my store that was going to renew over the last couple of days in June, and put my store on vacation just so that I wouldn't have anything sell, or I didn't want to touch any of it. I just wanted to take a break from it for a couple days, go through my inventory, figure out what I'm doing. I'm sorry about the mess back here. Everything's all over the place. So I'm busy. Um anyway, so I'm going through my stuff, and that lot of stuff that I got from her, there were some bowls that are measuring cups. They're Pioneer Woman, and those are going to sell for probably $10. I think I pulled, um, I have a bunch of drafts saved up right now because I started doing drafts because, yeah, they should sell for at least 10. They're nesting measuring bowls. Really cute. I have some SpongeBob aquarium stuff. One's the little pineapple, and then that tiki looking head. I've gotten some interesting things over the past couple weekends going to the yard sales and stuff. So hopefully I can get those things in my store. But I just didn't record and share anything with you guys. But I may share some information about this past weekend, the stuff that I got as those things sell, if and when they sell. So that is it for now. I will let you guys go. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching and subscribing. And hopefully I will see you guys soon with some kind of footage. Bye.